Alright, so the basics of sharpening. So there's sharpening and there's honing. So sharpening is creating an angle or an edge, while honing is maintaining that edge. We're mostly going to be talking about honing, but let's say sharpening, right? Making an edge, which is literally just an angle, right? The smaller the angle, the sharper it can get, but the faster it dulls, right? And there's, you can get into like the types of metal and stuff like that, right? So I have a stone here, right? And hopefully I don't hurt myself, right? But I have a stone here and a really janky, messed up knife, so I can mess it up all I want and we'll be okay, right? So in terms of sharpening, right? Things that you would probably need is some heavy grit sandpaper or a file, right? Or a really heavy grit stone. And if you have, this is over the top, right? I have 3 stones here. I have coarse stone, I have fine, and I have my Arkansas stone, just really, really smooth polish, right? A lot of fancy stuff into that. That's fine and dandy, whatever. But easy way to tell if you're being effective in either sharpening or honing. Take a Sharpie, right? This edge right here, I am going to color this edge in the Sharpie until that shine is completely gone. All right. So I have colored that in with the Sharpie, right? Black. So to tell if I'm at the right angle, if I'm actually sharpening it, or if I'm really just messing up the metal up here, I'll start with sharpening. Use my file, and I will go over at a certain angle. And I will be able to tell if I'm at the right angle, the angle I need to be. If you see here, where the Sharpie is gone, yeah, Sharpie's still up here, right? Still dark right here, but it's really shiny right from here to here, right? I can tell now I'm at a good angle, right? So, one more time, see if I can do this in the camera, right? I'm gonna just color that in, right? You can see, okay, color it in with the Sharpie. Take my file, same thing. I'm gonna go over it. The file takes off a lot more material, a lot more metal than the stone does, right? So now, we're back to shiny again, right? I know that I'm at the correct angle. It's doing okay. So, I'm going to do the same thing on this edge. I don't have to worry about really doing anything too much with the Sharpie or anything, because after a while you kind of figure out what you're doing. There's a certain resistance you get when you're doing that. Now, for a lot of these knives, you have serrations, right? You can get cylindrical files. Those work great. Now let's say you don't have a cylindrical file. Let's say you only have a regular file, or in my case, I have a stone, right? You can use any stone, doesn't really matter as long as it has a flat edge. So as you can see, this edge has been grinded down, right, to create that sharp edge. This side, on the other hand, is completely flat. They didn't grind this edge whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a little bit of material on this side, which is going to bring that edge, the actual blade, closer to this ground edge. So I'm going to put this flat edge, the untouched edge, against the stone at an angle. Let's see if I can get a better view of this. So I'm going to pull it towards me against the blade. The blade is facing me. I'm going to pull it towards me in a cutting motion. Right? Going to slowly, surely take about 12 to 15 passes. Right? In a cutting motion, the angle isn't too important. I just want to remove a little bit of material. As long as my edge isn't being, or isn't getting caught in the stone, I'm doing okay. So, the only pressure you want to add is pretty much the weight of your hands alone. You don't have to push down, you don't have to do any of that. So, okay. Now, we're getting a little shine right here. I don't know if you can see it in the camera here, but a little shine in this edge on this side now. That is it's really grabbing, it's really sharp. Getting to be the good stuff. So, that's feeling sharp. But this right here, that's the main edge we're going to worry about, right? So, in terms of honing, right, getting that hair popping sharpness, right? That's the good stuff. That's what we want. You don't have to use a fancy stone like this. I'm going to speed things up today, but it doesn't have to be a wet stone. Could be a dry stone. Use a little bit of this honing solution oil. Put some on here. Now again, you can do this with a basic stone. You can do this with a file, so on and so forth. It does not matter, right? You can do it with sandpaper. It works. What I'm going to do is same thing in a cutting motion. This time I'm going to be cutting away from me and be a little bit less careful, right? So I can do the same thing. Color it in with a Sharpie, or hopefully the camera picks this up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place this against the stone, and I'm going to slowly rotate the blade until the shadow beneath the blade completely disappears. So you can see underneath the blade ever so slightly, right? I'm going to keep rotating until that completely disappears. There's no gap between the stone and the blade itself. That is the angle of the blade that's already on the knife. That's what you want. That's going to pull away the most material. So what I'm going to do, again, I've been doing this for a good while, I'm going to do 7 passes on one side, flip to the other side. All right. 7 passes. Flip it back over, do 5 passes. 3 passes. Okay, 3 passes. Okay, 1 pass. 1 pass. All right. Get this knife off. Really janky, overused pocket knife. Let's see if I'm able to pull any hairs off here. So, right there. Don't know if it, yeah, we go. We're getting hair popping. Yeah. Dry shaving. That's what we want, right? Now, this is a really cheap knife, so this is probably going to dull pretty quickly, right? The smaller the angle, quicker it dulls, but the sharper it can get, right? So let's say straight razor shave, right? Those usually straight razors are usually down to about 10 degrees, while an axe, on the other hand, can be up to 33 degrees, right? Now, axes can be hair popping sharp. They can. It's all about how you do it and how good you are, right? However, it's very rare. It's hard to get them that sharp. The good news is they'll dull a little bit slower than, let's say, a straight razor. You try to hit a tree with a straight razor, you're going to lose the edge first hit. On the other hand, an axe, because of its angle, because of the thickness of the metal, it's going to last maybe a couple trees, maybe a few trees. If you're lucky, good steel, several trees. But everyone has to resharpen their blade. So, hopefully, this helps you instead of having to go out and buy new equipment or kitchen knives or razors, pocket knives, whatever it may be, or maybe you want to learn a hobby to help your friends out, your family out, whatever it may be. Hopefully this can help you get started. Everyone needs a sharp knife for anything and everything, okay? Because either someone needs to get stabbed or Southern broad cake. So hopefully this helps. See you in the next one.